Here's what you missed from Glaucoma 360. Hello and welcome. I'm Carey Powers, and today we are spotlighting the innovation that is shaping the future of eye care here at the Glaucoma 360 New Horizons Forum in San Francisco. I'm joined by Dr. Malvina Eydelman, newly appointed CEO of the Collaborative Community on Ophthalmic Innovation. Dr. Eydelman brings decades of leadership experience from the FDA and is now focused on accelerating ophthalmic innovation by bringing together global stakeholders across the ecosystem. She's also an adjunct professor at the Byers Eye Institute at Stanford. Dr. Eydelman, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to do this interview with you.
So you spent decades in regulatory leadership, and now you're stepping into a global innovation leadership role. What drew you to CCOI and to take on this leadership role?
So I truly am an innovator at heart. Ever since I was a little girl, I became fascinated with innovation. And as I was retiring from FDA in March after 30 years of spending there and having done many, many different things over my 3 decades, I took what I like to say a helicopter view to try to decide on what I wanted to do with Malvina 2.0. And my first decision was that I definitely wanted to continue to dedicate my life to helping medical product innovation reach patients fastest, most expeditious manner. And to do that, I wanted to utilize my 3 decades of experience at FDA to learn from all of the mistakes and all of the successes that I have seen over my tenure there. The one thing that I would say was very clear is that in order for true innovation to revolutionize ophthalmology, we all need to work together. Every single successful innovation that was brought to market in ophthalmology over the last 3 decades came from working collaboratively to establish with the academia, with the clinicians, with the professional organizations, the appropriate endpoints and standards that are needed to evaluate new medical products. Without clear architectural ecosystem for evaluation of novel technologies, you cannot really bring audacious, revolutionary medical products to global markets. So to do that, you really need to restructure the ecosystem for ophthalmic innovation. And that's exactly what CCOI, or Collaborative Community on Ophthalmic Innovation, is doing. It's a US-based nonprofit which is very unique in that unites every single stakeholder in the global ecosystem. Patients, physicians, medical professionals, and regulators are all at the same table solving the key challenges that stand between the exciting new breakthroughs and the patients who really need them.
Well, that is a really great segue to my next question. When you look at ophthalmology right now, where do you see the greatest momentum and where do you see the greatest friction?
So I think the greatest friction, I'll start with the bad part, is that a lot of innovation is happening very fragmentally. There are many different parts in the ecosystem that don't normally talk to each other. And there's no way that we can bring a consistent revolution of innovation unless we all work together and truly collaborate. Now, as far as where the most exciting innovation is, I actually think, so before I retired from FDA over 30 years, I had the privilege of overseeing 7 different medical subspecialties. But I am an ophthalmologist by training, and I am truly not saying it because I'm an ophthalmologist, But I believe that ophthalmology is the leader in innovation across all of the medical subspecialties. And there are many examples such as lasers, you know, and the very first autonomous AI for all of medicine that my team brought to the market in US was in ophthalmology. So ophthalmology isn't just dear to my heart because I am an ophthalmologist, but I truly believe that the ophthalmologists have this special sauce to bring to, well, first of all, they have the unique beauty of the eye, which is a window to the overall systemic health. Um, and the ophthalmologists are just a very unique bunch with the ability to use their energy to truly revolutionize innovation of all of medical care.
That's amazing. We're very biased here, so
Yes,
you can
very.
speak freely. So clinical endpoints and outcomes comes up repeatedly in innovation conversations. So where do you think the field needs modernization most urgently? And what is CCOI doing to help drive that alignment?
Well, CCOI is, as I keep repeating, is a very unique organization, and we have very specific outputs. Our outputs are clinical endpoint consensus clinical endpoints, which are really what the regulatory bodies around the globe need in order to have a roadmap for evaluation of novel medical products. And this is was one of the most important other aspects that CCOI brings is the standards. Uh, Within the last few months, CCOI became an independent voting member of American National Standards Organization. And I'm also very proud to say that we now have 1 out of 5 total seats for the United States at the International Standards Organization. So that makes CCOI a key driver for global ophthalmic standards. We now have the capacity to recommend and work on modifications that are needed for existing standards, as well as to propose novel standards that didn't previously exist in order to be able to have global consensus with regulatory bodies on how to evaluate brand new technologies.
Very good. So looking ahead, what does success look like for CCOI 5 years from now?
So I always like to have audacious goals, otherwise, life is boring. So I truly hope that CCOI will become the one stop shop for anybody who is interested in anything that has to do with the eye health, whether it's patients, physicians, professional organizations, industry, um, anybody who is interested in maximizing the power of the eye, that they turn to CCOI for both helping break the barriers to bring novel medical products to global markets, as well as provide education and support to patients.
Very good. Well, we'll be watching and cheering you on along the way. So right now, you are really 10 hours away from jetting off to Hong Kong for CCOI's Asia Pacific Innovation Forum. So tell us what's going to be happening there.
Thank you for mentioning that. I'm truly excited. I'm calling it my coming out party. Prior to this year, we were very successful in bringing together global members, but our meetings previously tended to be virtual. 2025 meeting, for example, we had about 1,500 participants from every continent, but virtually. And so within the last 9 months, we changed how we do things. Well, it started in 2019, right around the COVID. So by default, the virtual meetings were a natural way to start. But now we have shifted and are hosting a number of in-person workshops and meetings around the globe. And because it is truly a global consensus organization, we are going to every continent. So it is very exciting. this meeting is going to be held February 3rd and 4th. So if this video happens to play before, I'm not sure when it's going to go live, I would love to say that just today, we actually opened free virtual registration for anybody in the world. And we have a free Google Translator to translate it to any language due to the sponsorship of that. We're very grateful for the industry sponsorship. February 3rd is our second consensus workshop on myopia. As you know, myopia epidemic is affecting the whole world, Asia specifically, but the US as well. So for the myopia work group, which is led by Mike Repka and Daniel Ting, we set up a series of workshops in order to deal with identifying appropriate endpoints for all of the different medical products in the pipeline to address the epidemic. Our first workshop was held in Paris in September. And as I mentioned, the regulators were part of that workshop. We had many very heated discussions, which all of you can listen to from our website. Everything is available on our website for those of you who are interested. But I was truly delighted that only 3 weeks subsequent to our workshop, the first ever glasses by Essilor for myopia progressions got cleared by the FDA.
Wow.
And the data that the decision was made on was very consistent with what the discussion was in Paris. So we were quite happy with that outcome. And February 3rd, just a few days from now, we're going to be expanding this discussion to other therapies. The September workshop was limited to contact lenses and glasses. And February 3rd, we're going to expand the discussion to drugs, AI, and other novel ways of approaching stopping the progression of myopia. So February 3rd is all about myopia. And then February 4th, we started out with a small meeting, and now we have 2 rooms concurrently running in Grand Hyatt. So
Audacious as usual.
so it is going to be a very, very full program. We have a session on every exciting breakthrough area in ophthalmology, some established and well discussed, like AMD and glaucoma, nothing confrontational. But also, we're tackling areas which are totally brand new for ophthalmology. We're going to have the biggest and probably most impactful session to date on oculomics. Our oculomics work group now has leadership from 3 different continents. We have a leadership from Hong Kong, from US, and from England. So truly making sure it's very global. And it's going to be a very interesting discussion that is going to allow oculomics to become a reality in the next couple of years. And then this was totally hot off the press. We just added a robotics work group as the 18th work group for CCOI.
Wow.
So we're having the first ever for CCOI a robotics session that I'm very happy to co-chair with Steve McLeod. And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends who are regulators. And so we're going to be utilizing the lessons learned from bringing robotics in other areas of medicine. Dr. Benita Shah, who just retired from FDA as the head of the office that brought all other robotics, will be sharing her experience. And then we're going to be utilizing that to discuss what the regulatory roadmap is going to look like for robotics. And then I'm very fortunate that just 10 days after that, I'll be bringing what we discussed to SRS, which is the Robotics Society, where I was asked to become part of the leadership groups that will be working to develop novel endpoints for evaluation of robotics and ophthalmology. So it's all connected.
Yes, I love it. Just like the eye to the rest of the body. So I love it. So your next workshop after that will be defining global standards for glaucoma endpoints being held before ASCRS in Washington, D.C. So who should attend that meeting and what can they expect?
So we actually have another workshop in March, but on pediatric IOLs, so bringing pediatric IOLs. But let's talk about glaucoma. April 8th is the workshop that is going to help truly change the game for glaucoma innovation. As I described to you before, the CCOI now has a very powerful role in the standards in the world. And for the first time ever, ISO committee has agreed to open a novel standard for glaucoma medical products. This was never done before. Having been a US rep for close to 30 years to ISO, I'm well aware is that bringing a very coherent proposal to the first meeting truly helps shape the discussion and the speed and the rate of consensus that can be achieved at the global level. So the April 8th workshop is going to help us as the U.S. glaucoma community define what are the key variables and what are the key parameters and how should they be evaluated for glaucoma medical products in order to expedite innovation. And subsequent to April 8th, my team is going to translate that into a draft ISO standard that I will be actually proposing in person in Milan in June.
Very exciting. So how can we register?
So there is, I just flashed the QR code on the screen, but please come to go to our website, CCOI website, and there is a registration. We just opened it for free, hoping that we will have plenty of sponsors to support this initiative, because this is where the rules get written. This is how glaucoma medical product innovation can truly be expedited.
Very good. Well, Dr. Eydelman, thank you so much for your leadership and for the amazing innovation that you're driving through CCOI.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
For more information on CCOI, visit their website at cc-oi.org. And for more information on the Glaucoma Research Foundation and their efforts to cure glaucoma, visit glaucoma.org.